Hi everyone, Holly Roush here with Three, and super excited to have y'all on tonight. I'm tuning in from Alice Beach, Florida. If you don't know of that, it's the panhandle of Florida, looking out on the beautiful beach waters. So in this December, it is really exciting to see. We've got an exciting night tonight because I'm going to be interviewing a great friend of mine out in Des Moines, Iowa, but wanted to share a little bit about me first. I started in this industry 20 years ago as a stay-at-home mom. I had done pharmaceutical sales previously. And I was looking. I didn't know that I was open, but my brother-in-law, who's a PGA golfer, he called me one day and said, Holly, I found something. It's a way to get healthy. You can earn some extra income. I think you'd be great at it. You should do it. And I was like, well, great. How do you do it? And he said, oh, it's one of those things. I'm like, one of what things? And he said, network marketing. And I was like, what? No, that's not anything I ever thought I wanted to do. I went to parties every night of the week, was supporting my friends, looking for the cheapest thing in the catalog because I had to go to four more parties. But no one ever presented this business to me in a way that made sense. But I was open. At the time I had retired from pharmaceutical sales and my boys were 3, 6, and 9. And I wanted to earn some extra income. Corbin had a great job. It wasn't that, but I wanted kind of something that was mine and my own spending money that I could do when I wanted, with whom I wanted, how much I wanted. And so it really made sense. And the more I dove into the industry, it's something that I do every day. I'm always networking. Everything is networking, right? And so when I share my favorite restaurant with someone, or maybe it's a clothing line or a makeup brand or a hotel that I stay at, none of those places send me a check for sharing with my friends and family and them going to one of those places or purchasing something. With this industry, for sharing products that I love and I'm using and I believe my friends and family should use, I'm getting a check for doing that. And so that totally made sense because I'm always sharing things that I love and things that I see great benefit from. And so I just want to quickly share a little bit. Here's my boys, 3, 6, and 9 when they were younger and I got started. Up here in the right, this is them today. So 22, 25, 29. They've literally grown up in this industry. And if you ask any one of them what they think of that, they will all tell you that they believe they had the most incredible life. It was, mom and dad kind of there for them all the time. After being in the industry just a couple years, Corbin, my husband, his boss came in, he cut him by 2/3, said, you're going to make a third of your pay, put a smile on your face and get out there and sell. And I was working for a company that was the sky's the limit. The more people I wanted to talk to, the more people I shared it with, the bigger the team grew, the more that I could make. And so when that happened, within 2 years of me starting this industry, I had doubled his income and he was able to walk away from that corporate America job. And we've done this together now, it's hard to believe, ever since. And so he's not employable at this point, and we love it because we can work from anywhere. And if you ask my kids, they'd say we've had an incredible life because my mom and dad were there through everything. We were able to take the kids to school, pick them up from school, sit in the carpool line, go on the things at school that they would have, be there at every event, be there at all of their sporting events and everything that was really important to them. And we loved that we got to do that. And we traveled the world together and we introduced them to so many amazing people. So now at this age, as they're out of college, we have one that went to Alabama. Our youngest is at Alabama, Roll Tide. Our middle went to the University of Georgia, Go Dogs. You can only imagine what football season is like in my home. And it's really because of this industry. If it was not for this, we would not have been able to put the money aside for them to go anywhere that they wanted. And we just taught them at a young age, get the grades, get your ACT, and wherever you want to go, we've put the money aside to do that. And college, especially out-of-state tuition, is no joke. So I'm here to tell you, if it wasn't for us doing a business like this, getting it started on the side, we couldn't have done that. And then down in the lower corner, that's Alice Beach, Florida, where we live. And I show all this just to show the dream. I think that when we're young, we have big dreams. Our parents teach us that. But for whatever reason, as we get older, those dreams kind of go to the wayside because we think I can only work so many hours in a day. Because of this industry, really, the numbers compound. You get a team started and 2 becomes 4, then 8, 16, 32, 64. And all of a sudden, it's not just the hours you're putting in, but you have a team of putting hours in, and that residual income can be so great. And so Alice Beach, this is where we live. It's a place that we've vacationed over the last 20 years. And we used to, walk the sand out there on the beaches and think, what if we could go they're 1 month out of the year. Wouldn't that be amazing? And about 3 years ago, we bought a lot and we're building the home of our dreams just right here in a place that we thought we could only vacation at, 1 week out of the year. And that's what's so great about our business. We can do it from anywhere. I want to share quickly a little bit about three and our leadership and why I think it's so important. Again, I've been in the industry 20 years. I've been around a lot of founders and CEOs, and I've also been around a lot of chief science officers. These are two things that sets us apart from any other company in our industry. Daniel Piku has years of experience, I love, in traditional business, but also in network marketing business. And I think when the two of them come together, he performs at such a level that it's just done with class. When you see our branding, that's important to me. I come from a marketing background and I want a brand that I can be proud of. And he does that. And I tell people all the time, I sleep at night because he doesn't, because he works 24/7. And I love that because our company just launched only less than 3 years ago. We're just getting started. And so you need someone that'll be in the trenches with you. That's Daniel Piku. And then we have Dr. Dan Gubler, who is our chief science officer, 1 million followers on social media, which is a big deal because that didn't just come from our following. It comes from the industry. He's very highly thought of. He Caltech trained, PhD in organic chemistry. When you hear his story and how he grew up, he lives, breathes, and sleeps coming up with different combinations, ingredients, products, and really focused on all natural supplements, proactive wellness. And so he's really setting you up to win in your health, and Daniel's setting you up to win in your health and financially. So why three? It's science backed. I love this simplicity. We have something we'll share with you, the Simple Six, but it's really about cellular absorption. You can go buy all the supplements on the countertops, and they're in every 7-Eleven across the country. You can go into Buc-ee's and probably find some sort of collagen. You can find them in your Walmarts or whatever. But the difference is you got to have absorption, and that's what we have. So we have 12 different technologies in the way that these ingredients are delivered into your body at a cellular level. On top of that, we're in the physician's desk reference, which is now called the prescriber's digital reference. I know a lot about this, and some of you may too. Just with my pharmaceutical background, every doctor I used to go to, he'd have the big old blue book and he'd look in there to see what he should prescribe you. What's so amazing is 8 of our products, so all of our 6 supplements are listed in that. There's only about 30 supplement companies in there. Mind you, there's about 5,000 to 8,000 supplement companies in the US alone. Only about 30 have their products in there. We have 8 of ours. It's really what sets us apart. We're globally in 14 markets right now in ground floor timing. Like I said, no one knows about us yet. Our scientific advisory board really sets us apart. These are doctors who they're not getting paid. They come in and say, hey, we want to be a part of your board. We understand the products, the ingredients. We want to learn more about that. We want to dive in and study more of that. And we have Mayo Clinic, MD Anderson, Johns Hopkins, UCLA Medical Advisory Board, University of Michigan. So really so much credibility behind what we're doing. This is the Simple Six. And as you get with the person who invited you, they can get into depth in each of those. But Vitality, that's just our daily supplement, your vitamins, your minerals, your probiotic, your prebiotic, your omegas, everything that you should be taking every single day to get your body working at an optimal level. It's a product I do not miss. And it's the only daily supplement I've heard people take that they actually feel a difference and they notice when they don't take it. Eternal, that's an antioxidant. Like, who doesn't want to look younger? I mean, I am all about proactive wellness. I started doing products like this, 20 years ago, because I knew when I got to my 50s, I didn't want to have the things my parents have. And so I'm doing this being proactive. Too many people wait till it's catastrophic and then they decide to do something. So antioxidant, collagen, it speaks for itself, but ours also has biotin and keratin. So think joints, but also think skin and think hair, nails, all the great things. Revive, natural, anti-inflammatory, immune. It speaks for itself. We all need to protect our immune system. We know this. The cost of missing a day of school, the cost of missing a day of work, or missing your family because you're not feeling well. Immune is so important. And then Purify, it detoxes your 5 major organs. Who's joining us? Everyone. You can probably look on this list and your profession's probably on there. A friend, family member's profession is on here. Never prejudge, because everybody is looking. People are looking now more than ever for better health. I even look at my kids and, 20 years ago when I was there, or back when I was their age, I didn't know a lot about supplements and all natural ingredients, but people are doing a deep dive today. And so that's where three international products really set us apart. So never prejudge. Why now? Because the wellness industry is going to be over a $9 trillion industry global. The network marketing industry is growing by leaps and bounds. Why? How many of us know someone who's working two jobs, three jobs? Our jobs aren't paying us more. There are only so many hours in a day. And so people are looking for a side gig. And we have this. And it's so great because something like three, it happens in your organic conversations. We all know somebody who is looking for better health or they're talking about aches and pains or tired or whatever it is. And we all know people are saying, man, my bills are crazy. My credit card's higher than it's ever been. Going out to eat costs more. Everything we do costs more. How can I supplement that income? We've got something for you. And it happens in your organic conversations every single day anyway. You're talking to people and they're sharing these things. And now you have an opportunity to share with them why three. So we also have a conference we'll talk about here in just a little bit. So I'm going to stop this share and I'm going to bring on a friend of mine, Sarah Farnsworth, and we're going to do a little interview. And it's funny, we both jumped on here. We both have our green on today. I guess maybe that's getting ready for Christmas break. But I met Sarah years ago. And one, you're going to find like I did, I love her energy. She's always smiling. I have to say, she's one of the people like I look forward to always talking to, but she always sends just really nice messages at the exact right time. When you feel like, oh, I should send this, you're prompted, she always does. And so I always appreciate about Sarah. She's a mom. She works this business. She's done other things in the past. So I'm going to bring up Sarah, and I want Sarah, before I take it away of what she does, I want her to share a little bit about her background and where you come from in Des Moines and how many kids and a little bit about your family, Sarah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Holly. So, as Holly said, I live in Des Moines, Iowa, actually a little bit outside of it, but pretty close to Des Moines. I am married to my college sweetheart of 25 years. And we have two girls, almost 16-year-old and almost 11-year-old. And so we are, like most families, really busy, right? We're doing all the things. My husband is a managing shareholder at an accounting and business planning firm here. And so we're busy. We love to travel. We're involved in all of our church and community activities. And life is busy, right, for a lot of people. So I love being a part of this, not only movement of what's happening because of kind of where I've been, but most importantly, because of where it's going. So I grew up with a mom that had a lot of health problems, and I saw her saying no to a lot of things. And so I knew when I grew up, I wanted to be a present mom. I wanted to be able to be healthy and vibrant and doing things and playing on the floor with my kids. And so I grew up and I got into healthcare, which I loved. I loved being able to serve people and help people. But it wasn't as proactive as I had hoped it would be. People weren't moving forward as quickly. And I just had always valued the paradigm that if we take care of ourselves now, like you said, Holly, our life can look very different in the future. And that matters, right? Nutrition makes a difference. So got into traditional healthcare, kind of saw that shift, and I didn't really want to be a part of that. And so moved over into more natural health and worked with some chiropractors, functional medicine people. And subsequently, I started having a lot of health problems myself. So I was a new mom and wasn't taking care of myself. I was taking care of the babe and all the things in all of life, but wasn't eating well, wasn't sleeping well. I had a lot of autoimmune issues happening, a lot of hormone issues, kind of ups and downs, a lot of anger, which I know a lot of moms don't always want to talk about, but I needed more nutrition for one, but just really was struggling with a lot of things. I had a lot of liver issues, gallbladder issues, and I just wasn't living the life that I knew that I was called to do and be there for my family. And so when Dr. Alicia Clevenger, one of my good friends, who Holly also knows, reached out to me and she said, "Hey, I'm doing something new and I want to share this with you." And I was like, stop right there. I have taken all the supplements in the world in the last 17 years. I was working with top pharmaceutical brand and I was taking a lot of them. And I had maybe felt a little different, but it wasn't anything that made a big difference in my day. And so when I asked Dr. Alicia all the questions about sourcing and what was different and all of that, and she mentioned absorption, as Holly said, that got my attention because that was something that nobody else had. But more than seeing it as a way to really improve my health and the health of those that I love and care about and that I was working with, I saw it as an opportunity to have a career that I could build around my family. And being present and being flexible, I think moms were kind of pulled in all these different directions, and flexibility is so important as a mom. And so that was something that I saw, and I thought, moms deserve to know about this. And so I jumped all in, started taking the products, and felt different very quickly. My mood started to level out. I was waking up ready to go. I was positive. I was happy. My husband was like, "Who are you? And what did you do with my wife?" So I was able to function, take care of my family, and really thrive. And ever since then, it's only gotten better. The health of myself, my kids, my family, and those that we love. And it's just such a gift to be able to like offer something like this to people, not only the products, but just the ability to have something for moms, for anyone, to be able to have flexibility and be present and show up for their life and create the life that they want.
I love that. And so many people, you're probably, Sarah, on wouldn't have been on someone's list, right? Because they're successful, they've got kids, they're busy, they're probably not going to take the time to do this. And you're like that perfect person because one, I love multitaskers. I think we get way more done, right, in a day. And I think even moms, especially, stay-at-home moms where maybe the husband's doing something, he's successful. We like to have something that's ours. And it's the community that you get around. I mean, so much, some people say, oh, well, they're wealthy, they don't need the money, whatever. It's sometimes just the community that they need. And it's just getting that atta girl. It's fun to be able to share products that it's changing people's life, to get that phone call. And I'm sure you get this all the time, Sarah. Thank you for sharing this product because it did this for me. Thank you for sharing this product because I gave it to my mom and this happened. She was able to get out of bed or walk a mile that she hadn't done before. And those are the phone calls that, I remember when I was in the business about the first couple months thinking about quitting. Like, is this good? Is this really going to go anywhere? And I got a phone call from someone who said, hey, or it was an email. Thank you for sharing the product because my feet felt like rocks. They went from rocks to boulders to pebbles to all of a sudden I could wear, high heel shoes to my daughter's wedding. And I was like, okay, this is why I do it. This is what gets me out of bed, is to help people every single day. So I'm sure the stories that you're getting people physically, but isn't it fun too to get the stories financially? Because it starts in the business where I feel like it's physical. You're getting all those stories, but all of a sudden it transitions into this, man, I was able to pay for my son's football lessons, or I was able to pay for my kids' private school. I mean, tell me about some of the stories maybe you've gotten.
Yeah. And like you said, we were busy. My husband has an amazing job, but it was something that I previous to having kids had a really amazing career. And that was really important to me. And I love that piece of it. And so I think that sometimes we forget um, how capable we are as moms. I think it is a time where we're really focused on our kids, and that's really important, and raising them and doing that. But we also need something for us and to help us make the world different, right? Like, we're raising humans, but there's a whole bunch of people out there that really need hope. And what we have for people is not only products that make them feel completely different in the way that they show up to their days, but we have an opportunity that someone can choose to step into and truly change the trajectory of their family. And what maybe it is just those dance classes for people. Maybe it's the extra $500 a week for groceries, whatever that is. For us, we've been able to do a ton of things that we couldn't have before. And even a lot of that is just the flexibility. I can go wherever. We can go on a vacation. We're leaving for Hawaii in the beginning of January. I'm pulling my kids out of school because I can work from anywhere. My husband can. And so we get to take those experiences. And it's really just about saying more. Yes, I want yes to this, or I want more of this in my life. And that's exactly what we have to offer people. And it's such a gift that we get to share.
I love that. And I think for your kids, I don't think I know this now because hindsight, where my kids are, I can tell people this today is they're watching you. They're watching mom work and they're watching mom encourage other people. They're hearing you on the phone, whether it's, coaching people on their health or it's coaching people on their finances and getting them to the next level and ranking up and encouraging them to earn the next trip that we do because we love to take, free trips. You can earn those all the time. And when they hear that, what you start to find is that those kids are doing it at school with their friends. All of a sudden, they're encouraging their friends. I notice like my kids are so confident because they have an air about them. They've learned kind of entrepreneurship. And so people with kids that, use their kids as an excuse, I'm always like, no, no, no. Your kids should be the exact reason to do it. Because even though maybe, it ebbs and flows, you're going to have to run at times for sure. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, but there are times we are going to do little sprints and get your kids on board. I'm sure you did the same. When my kids were little, we would talk about it. Hey, when I hit this rank, we'll go do, you guys can get your all favorite pair of tennis shoes. They were really into tennis shoes at the time. When we hit this rank, we'll all take a trip together. And so I really got the kids involved. So instead of grabbing my heels as I'm running out the door, they're cheering me on. And all of a sudden they're calling saying, hey, was Sarah at the event? Is she going to earn the trip to Hawaii? Is Sarah going to go here? Is she earning the car? I mean, whatever the things were. And so it's so fun to get your kids involved. Have you been able to do that with yours?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm pretty close to a next next title, and on Sunday, my youngest was like, "Mom, did that person enroll? Where are you at? How many cycles are you at?" Like she's
Awesome.
asking me, wanting to hear where we're at. And I think for my kids, I mean, they obviously have an amazing life, but for them, I think the biggest piece is that I'm present. I can be
Right.
there when I need to pick them up. One of them forgot something at school the other day and I had to run it to her, and I was able to just pick up and go take it to the school. They have middle of the afternoon things or soccer tournaments or whatever it is. I'm not missing them. And in very strong contrast, I had a job that I said no to literally everything because I was working nights and weekends and I couldn't just take off. And so for me, that is everything, to be there for my kids, and I want them to want that for their kids too. And there's just so many people in the world, and that's what we teach them, that there's a whole world of people that we get to serve and love on, and this is just an extension of that. And so it's just so much fun for us.
And that's what's so fun about three is not only our goal is to help everyone in our backyard in Des Moines, Iowa. That whole area has such an unbelievable community and team of leaders that all work together, all cheer each other on. And it's so cool to watch that. It's just one of my favorite places always to go. But we can also expand to so many markets. And with technology today, when I started 20 years ago, we didn't have that. But today, by doing these Zooms, all of a sudden someone can join us in Kansas City and Minneapolis and California, and we can reach them by doing events like this through the computer. Everything's on your phone. So when you join us, it's $30 to join. You're going to pick your products. You're going to talk to the person who invited you. You're going to get product for yourself because it's important for you to be a product of the product, but you're also going to get products that you can share because you've got to get stories from other people. But you're going to get an app. And in this app is everything Sarah and I are talking about, all the details on the product, the science, the compensation plan, all of that. We just want you to get started with us. And maybe you've started with us and you haven't done anything yet. Today's your time to do it. We're having a huge event in Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth area, January 9th through the 11th. I've been in this 20 years. I've never, ever missed an event, nor would I, because it's so fun, one, to get around the leadership of the company. They're always introducing new things, but it's bringing the community together, like-minded people that lift each other up, that give you that belief and the confidence that I have my hands on the right thing, the right place at the right time with the right people. That's what you're going to see in Dallas, Texas. So if you're a brand ambassador with us, get registered. If you're new and you're joining us today, get registered because we're all going to go down there. We're going to celebrate the new year and we're going to all take off because I tell people all the time, three will be a household name. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And you can be a part of that happening in your backyard, in your community, and beyond. So, Sarah, any closing words to close out the year? What things can do, how people can share with friends and family this Christmas holiday season?
Yeah, well, I think that's the best thing. Like you said, we have every tool at our fingertips. And as a busy mom or a business owner or wherever you are in your life, we don't want to recreate everything. And that's the thing. We have amazing systems that you can plug into, resources at your fingertips. And we are going to be seeing all those family members, all those friends, reconnecting with people, seeing all the pictures on Facebook, right? And
Right.
we're going to get the chance to be able to share with them something that could completely change their 2026. Everybody's thinking about working out and making changes and doing all this. And there is not anything else like this and like the timing that we are in right now
That's
for
right.
people to just jump on board and literally make 2026 for real this time your best year ever.
And that's so right, Sarah, because right now, today, people are planning what am I going to do in 2026? How I'm going to kick off the new year, my New Year's resolutions, how am I going to get healthy? You want three to be the first thing that they think of. So share through the holidays, have those conversations with friends and family you don't normally see, and watch what happens. You're planting that seed, and we're going to see great things happen come 2026. So, Sarah, thank you so much for jumping on. Have a great holiday season. Everybody else out there, get with the person who invited you. If you're a guest on here, talk to them about what makes sense. Ask any questions that you have. We'd love to have you join the three community. Thanks for joining us. Bye.